Welcome everyone to another episode on The Gadget Doctor. My name is Martin and I will be your host and guide on this week's topic.
Welcome everyone to my back porch here in Florida. Today we're going to be talking about the Merkury Innovations Smart LED bulbs. These can be bought at Walmart for about $20, 1977 I believe, is what we paid for them. This is going to be my second two-pack. I didn't want to do a review on them with my first one, and I wanted to kind of figure out how to actually get these hacked. That way we are not stuck on the cloud and relying on the cloud. There's two apps you can use to program these right out of the box. You can use Genie or Tuya, Smart Life. But what we can do to hack these is use Tuya Convert. Now Tuya Convert, it relies on an image for the Raspberry Pi to actually program. That way we can put the Tasmota bin file on there. And once we have the Tasmota bin file on, we can set the pinouts for what's required on these bulbs to make them work correctly. But because I use ESP Home, after I flash it with Tasmota, I upload my bin file for ESP Home. So let's go ahead and take a look and
So
see
let's
how
get
that.
started. There is going to be a few things you will all need, and I'm sure you already have them. So let's go ahead and go through this. We will need a Raspberry Pi 3 Plus, a 32 gig micro SD card with adapter. That way you can put it into your laptop or into your computer tower. Your cell phone, and we will need Etcher Image Maker, which will be software that we'll be installing, the PuTTY Terminal, as well as a Raspbian Buster Light image to flash onto our micro SD card. But I will post all of this up down below. But Etcher, you will need to flash the ISO file to make your Raspberry Pi bootable, and you'll just go ahead and select what kind of version you want, whether you want an installer version or a portable version that you can put on a USB thumb drive. And they also have it for Linux. I'm not sure what it will be required for Mac OS, as I'm not familiar with Mac PCs. And then we will need to head to raspberrypi.org and download the Raspbian Buster Light image, which is only 434 megabytes. Once you have that downloaded, we will need to get the PuTTY terminal, either 32-bit or 64-bit, depending on what your computer is. And you'll want to go ahead and install Etcher and that. And once you have it installed, we'll open up Balena Etcher. Now that we have Balena Etcher up and running, we're going to go ahead and select our image that we're going to be using for the Raspberry Pi, which will be the Raspbian Buster Light image. Go ahead and select that. Make sure that your SD card that we're using is going to be the right one, and then we're going to click Flash. I'm going to save you the headache of watching it run through the full 5 minutes, so I will go ahead and fast forward that for you. So after we're done flashing, and it is successful, we're going to want to open up our SD card, and we're going to need to create a file called SSH. And I'm going to create it using a text document, providing it actually opens up for me. So we'll create the text document, and we'll want to get rid of the extension that's shown right here. Let's go ahead and highlight everything, relabel it SSH, and hit enter. It will ask you, do you want to change it? Go ahead and click yes. And there we have it. Now we can load our SD card into our Raspberry Pi. Once you have your Raspberry up and running and plugged into the Ethernet cable, as we don't want to use the Wi-Fi because we will use that to program our lights, you'll want to go into your router's about page and find out what the address is for the Raspberry Pi. That way we can SSH into it. So we'll go ahead and open up the PuTTY, and my Raspberry is on 47. So 192.168.254 and 47. Open. Yes. Okay, we're going to log in as Pi and Raspberry. Now, once we are here, we have commands that we can run. Oops. So the first command that you're going to copy and paste is this sudo command. And we will go down to Advanced Options, expand our file system. Okay. And then we're going to go down to Finish. We're going to reboot. And we're going to have to relog in with our PuTTY terminal. Log in as Pi, Raspberry. And we're back in. Now we're going to run the update command. You'll want to go ahead and let it go through its updates. Once that update is done, we're going to do an upgrade. And go ahead and let that run through its paces, and then it will ask you, do you want to continue? Go ahead and click Y and enter. Now this might take some time, depending on your bandwidth. And when that's complete, we're going to install our network manager. We'll go ahead and click Y. And once that's done, we're going to need to install our Git. That way we can clone Tuya Convert onto our Raspberry Pi. And go ahead and click Yes. And once that's done installing, we'll go ahead and clone our Git location into the Raspberry Pi. We're going to cd into Tuya Convert. And we're going to install our prerequisites. Now that we're done, we can go ahead and start our flash. Okay, now this is just a warning that he's not responsible for you bricking your device. So by typing in yes and enter, you're accepting that. Okay, now we're going to be turning off some managers and other servers that are running in the background. And the Wi-Fi adapter on the Raspberry Pi is actually going to make its own hotspot. Now, as you can see, the Wi-Fi hotspot is called vTrust Flash. So what you want to do on your device is go ahead and log into that network. Unfortunately, I don't have screen capture on my phone or another camera to use, but you'll get the IP address with vtrust-flash, login and cancel, and it says you are connected to vTrust Flash. Next thing we're going to do is screw in one of our bulbs. Once you have your light bulb screwed in, give it a second and then it'll start flashing rapidly, and that's what you'll want to wait for. Go ahead and click enter. You'll notice that the flashing stopped on the light bulb. And what it's doing right now is it's backing up the original firmware from the bulb. Here you will see the option of either return to stock, flash ES Pruna, or flash Tasmota bin. We're going to select number 2. Yes. And it'll ask you if you want to flash another device. You can go ahead and flash the second bulb, or you can work with this bulb first. And since we're going to work with this bulb first, I'm going to select no. And then we can exit out of here. And what you will see is you'll have your light bulb open to log into. we're automatically taken to our configuration page for Tasmota. Here you'll put in your SSID and password to your network. And click Save. We'll need to log back into our router and find where our light bulb is located. It'll be on 48. So I'll just come up here, click Enter. And here we can start our configuration, get information from it, as well as console. We can configure a template, which is, if you can find it on the Tasmota website, you can manually adjust these. These are your input and output pins. You've got different bases on what you can use. As you can see, it's already pre-built for the soft basic, so it'll just change everything to where it needs to be. But we are not doing any of these. So if you are a Tasmota fan, you're good to go. But if you're like me and you use ESP Home, we'll be going back to the main menu. And we're going to be doing a firmware upgrade. I'm going to select the file. Okay, let's see. And the binary that you make in ESP Home within Home Assistant is what you'll end up using the flash. But because I haven't decided on what to do with these light bulbs yet, I won't be flashing anything yet. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned.